Hi math students! This is a video for our lesson on solving inequalities in one variable. The goal for this lesson is to talk about how to solve and graph inequalities. We're going to start off by comparing what you already know, solving equations, with what we're doing today, solving inequalities. This first problem here is review from your past lessons on solving equations. So pause the video, try to solve this equation, and then come back to see how you did. If I wanted to solve the equation on the left, the first thing I would want to do is distribute that -4. That would give me negative 12x, and then -4 times -1 plus 4. And then I just need to copy my 6x and my 16 down. After that, the next step I want to do is combine like terms. That's a negative 12x and a 6x here, which when you combine give you negative 6x. Again, I'm going to copy my 4 and my 16. Now I have a two-step equation, so the next thing I can do is cancel my plus 4 with the opposite, minus 4. That gives me negative 6x equals 12. And then my final step, I'm going to divide by negative 6 on both sides, and that gives me my answer, x equals negative 2. What that answer means is that in this equation, that missing number that would go right here is the number negative 2. Solving inequalities is super similar to solving equations. You go through all the same steps. If you like drawing that line, it would be at your inequality sign instead of your equal sign. And then to solve this inequality, we go through all of the same steps. We would start by distributing that -4. That gives us negative 12x plus 4 plus 6x, but now it is greater than or equal to 16. After that, my next step, again, is combining my like terms. That gives me negative 6x plus 4 is greater than or equal to 16. Next, I'm subtracting 4 on both sides. That gives me negative 6x is greater than or equal to 12. And then my final step is I am dividing by negative 6 on both sides. When you solve inequalities, there is one big difference between inequalities and equations, one extra rule we have to remember, and that is what's in this box right here. When you solve an inequality, anytime you multiply or divide an inequality by a negative, so like what we're doing right here we are dividing by a negative. Do you remember the rule from pre-algebra? We need to flip or change the inequality sign. So instead of being greater than or equal to, because we are dividing by a negative, we are going to flip and it's going to go the other direction. It's going to be less than or equal to. So my answer here is x is less than or equal to negative 2. When you solve inequalities, you use all the same steps, but what the answer means is a little different. We said x equals negative 2 means the only number x can be is the number negative 2. When we say x is less than or equal to negative 2, what does that mean? Well, to talk about what it means, lots of times we use a graph to show that. When we say x is less than or equal to negative 2, this means that x can be equal to negative 2 or any number less than negative 2. So when we think about a number line, which numbers are we talking about? Well, we're talking about negative 2. That's this number right here. And to show that negative 2 is a solution, we color that circle in. We call that a closed circle. And then we also are talking about any number less than negative 2. Numbers that are less are always to the left. You can think less left. And so that's all of these numbers this direction. Negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, all of those numbers there. So the other skill we're working on in this lesson is showing the solution on a graph. To summarize what we're doing here, we've got these rules. When you are graphing an inequality, you're going to use a closed circle like we did on this graph for less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. That closed circle, when it's colored in like that, is showing it can equal that number or be other numbers. If you only have a less than or a greater than sign, we use an open circle. The open circle shows we're not talking about the number -2, only the number is less or greater. And so these are the rules you can use when you are graphing solutions to inequalities. That is the end of this first video. Go ahead and try the practice problems now.